you heard, there's a program called One Book, One Denver that chooses a single book every year, and they have all these reading programs around it. And in the past, the Denver mayor has chosen the book. This year they put it out for a vote, and there were 27 books on the list, and To Kill a Mockingbird won. So our timing is good in that everybody's going to be reading To Kill a Mockingbird this coming year. So we hope to take advantage of that and get some people to come and see it ahead of time.
Now, I cannot remember when the lines above Atticus's moving fingers separated into words, but I had stared at them all the evenings in my memory.
So the book is really critical in terms of informing the direction of the play that's an adaptation of that story. Because first of all, the book is the primary source. It is what the play was built from. Certainly when you're adapting a book that goes over 3 years' time, which this book does, and then narrowing its scope down to 1 summer and 2 hours and change, you have to pick and choose. The writer has to pick and choose what the focus of that story will be for the theater. Certainly actors need to go back and read the play and become familiar with information about their character from the book that maybe isn't represented specifically in the play. It's certainly backstory sort of work. And also understanding the milieu that the play is in. And that's been a great fun for all of the actors, but particularly for the young actors in the play.
Looks like he stick his head out the door sometime. Oh, he holds out all right.
I play the role of Jem, or Jeremy Atticus Finch.
Now, had you read the book before you got the part?
No, I was reading it during the auditions.
You were reading it during the auditions, so you heard about the auditions and you grabbed the book so you could learn about the character. Great.
And it's a good book. It's a good book anyways.
Yeah. It's important to do research as an actor, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
Very important.
I also found that the island I was on was barren, and as I saw good reason to believe, uninhabited.
Well, it was a very lucky coincidence because while I was in another production, I was reading the book, and when I was about halfway through it, this audition opportunity came up. So I was lucky.
I'd like to see what Boo looks like.
I think that Dill is very sensitive, and he's a good person, but he hasn't had the best experiences in life.
To Kill a Mockingbird is so timely at this point in our history in America. I also think that for those of us that are of an age that read it maybe in high school and we haven't read it since, to revisit that book as an adult is very powerful, because certainly our personal landscapes that we bring to the reading of it are very different now as adults than we were when we were teenagers.
I first read the book my freshman year of high school. It was kind of the assigned reading book, you know, as I'm sure that many people had that assigned, but rereading it was an incredible experience because I think I missed maybe at least 85% when I was 14 of the intricacy and the life of it and the looking backness of it as well, of the grown-up scout looking back on her life, which maybe I was more in Scout's shoes when I was reading it at 14.
Oh, there's so much. Morality and doing right. And I think it's funny that we like to distance ourselves so much from a time period in which we think we have come so far. And I don't necessarily know that we have. I think there's rampant racism and there's rampant bigotry that's causing the same sort of conflicts in small towns, not only just across America, but all over the world still. So I think we've made some strides, but we still have a long way to go.
I think the really important thing about this story to today's audience is not to judge other people right from what you see. You can't take one stereotype of one, I don't know, a race and judge judge all the people from that race the same way that you see one person.
My mom and several other people have been telling me to read the book for a long time because obviously it's an extremely well-known and loved book, so I finally decided to read it, and I loved it.
I think also because of electing our first African-American president, we think, oh, we've come so far since the days of Tom Robinson, but the issue of would we be willing to do what Atticus Finch does, to stand up and face, you know, the common culture and the common beliefs in the pursuit of justice? And I think those are really important questions for us to grapple with.
I think people should know what American history is like, how it was in the South back then.
The view of children in the play and now is still very unbiased, just pure thought, which makes, I think, that a remarkable book because it's through the eyes of a child.
I think the point of the story is you have to, what Atticus says about Boo Radley sort of underlines part of the story, is that you never really understand a person until you stand in their shoes.
Atticus, do you think Boo Radley ever comes out at night and looks in my window? Jim says he does.
Scout, I told you and Jim to leave those poor people alone.
Sam Gregory he's a very, very good actor.
I love working with Sam because besides being a phenomenal actor, he's easy to work with because he seems to really like kids.
He's a wonderful actor. I know him from Denver, actually, from before, and I was thrilled to find out he was playing the role. And he has incredible subtlety, as well as he's made Atticus Finch into someone who's not just a Buddha figure of always giving good advice at every turn, but he's a very human person, that he has his moments of anger and his moments of, I wish I hadn't said that, or these kinds of things, but you see his fight throughout the whole play of trying to do the right thing, which I think makes the play work.
And what would you say is going to be the benefit to the audience member or potential audience member who's going to read this book and then come see the play?
Oh,
or
gosh.
vice versa?
There's just this overwhelming, visceral sense of nostalgia. At least for me, having read the book as a young child and then rereading it as probably, I think I was in my 20s, and then reading it again in my 30s. Like, I just think that there's this you know these people. They're like crawling around inside of you, and you get to hear these words out loud and see these spaces out loud. It's just, I think, a really, really cool experience that we don't get a lot of times with some of our favorite novels or some of our favorite works of literature. You don't often get to see them played out in front of you. So hopefully we'll live up to your imaginations.
So the sequencing of this wonderful opportunity that people have is, I would say, come and see the play first, then read the book. Because otherwise what I fear is that some people will come and see the play and they'll go, oh, they'll make a list of all things that weren't in the play, as opposed to coming and having an experience in the theater with this play, then reading the book, and then maybe even seeing the movie, because they're very different perspectives represented, which is a wonderful treat for everyone in the area.